Hey, it's Joel, the 3D printing nerd, and if you remember a while back, I got the chance to go to Holodeck 3D Studios near me. It's where Alex and Dawn own a company that lets you 3D scan yourself or yourself and some friends in a full body experience, and then that gets exported into a digital file. That digital file gets sent off, and then you get this cool statue printed out. You remember I printed myself out in this gosh darn epic pose. Yeah, this was from their full body scan, and it turned out really good. Now I've visited them and I've put together my footage. Just be warned, it's a little bit of a long video. The first part of the video is my interview with Dawn and Alex. At about 8.5 minutes or so into the video, it's when I ask them the 5 top-rated questions that you guys left in the comments in the previous video. After that, they give me a quick tour of how the machine works. After that, they present me with a surprise. And then, after that, I have a surprise for you. So let's do this. Are you ready? Go. Hey, welcome back. So I'm going to introduce you to Dawn and Alex, who run Holodeck 3D Studios here in Kirkland, Washington. Hi, Dawn. Hi,
Hey.
Alex. How you guys doing?
How are you?
Good. How are you?
So I'm great. How the heck did you get into this business?
Well, we started looking for some business ideas, and then my 85-year-old father happened to have a scan of him and a sculpture, and we looked at it and we thought, this is exactly what we need to do.
Oh, okay.
It will keep us entertained, it teaches us about new technology, it connects us with other people, and it's a really awesome product.
Oh, well,
Exactly.
Alex, why did you choose Kirkland?
So we live here in Kirkland and know the area very well, and so we knew that if we could land a studio here in downtown Kirkland by the water, that people walking by, one, we would enjoy being down here in downtown in the off times, but also have that exposure of people walking by.
Oh, cool. It seems like this is a fantastic location, especially during the summer. Everybody's walking around on the Kirkland waterfront.
Exactly. So
What's your background? How did you guys take what you knew and transition into this new technology?
yeah. Well, I'm a project manager and have built manufacturing facilities, and so kind of the whole putting together a business model and holding the budgets and putting together a schedule kind of fit into actually starting a business. So there's a lot of transferable skills that come across.
Okay.
And Dawn is just naturally good with people and marketing and connecting with people, and has that personality that helps us in our business.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And my background was investor relations. I was working for some high-tech companies in Silicon Valley, and
You were already in the high-tech field. You just decided to
Exactly.
become a part of it
Right.
at that point.
right.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the system that you have, how did you go about acquiring this system?
So being from my background is that we first got turned on to the company that did my father-in-law, and we looked into their business model, how they worked, and I'm used to having performance requirements, and that it wasn't really meeting the things that we were looking for in terms of flexibility, portability, and the people
Speed.
that the kind of the people that we want to go ahead and capture, which were not only adults but kids and animals, to give us a broader target population.
Oh, that's good. How has business been? Have you been getting a lot of people walking in, or has the interest been there digitally? Are you socially out there?
Not as much as we would like to be. So we're both working full-time right now, and so we do this in our off hours. But we have a lot of...
Oh, this is a side business. I know how that
This is a
goes.
side business, exactly. So we really started up as a pop-up shop. We only we thought we'd just be here for November and December for the Christmas season. But we had such a great response just with walk-by traffic that we thought, boy, during the summertime, it would just go gangbusters. So we decided that we would go ahead and keep the studio on a long-term basis.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
This is I grew up in the area, so I know this location, and it's busy during the summer.
It
is busy with lots of people who would no doubt love to capture themselves, dress their finest, going out on a Thursday, Friday,
Right.
Saturday night.
Exactly.
That's right. Well, and having a permanent location that people can come to, that now we can go ahead and start advertising and getting the word out. And so not just counting on people walking by, but getting that name brand recognition within the Puget Sound area to...
I forgot to turn my phone volume on. Go big. That was awesome.
It's very Star Trek-y sounding.
Well, it was
It is
R2D2.
pretty
That was
cool.
R2D2.
Oh,
yeah, right there.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Last question before we get into my audience questions. What has been the most difficult thing pursuing this endeavor? Because this is newer technology. This isn't something you see everywhere. So what's been a roadblock, or what's been an obstacle that's been really tough to overcome?
You know what? I can't say that we've really met that in the wall roadblock. I think there's been, and that's kind of why we like this, is that yes, there's maybe either the technological issues that come up and those get resolved quickly. We have a great support team. And it's also in having people come in and buy, hand over fist. It's people are engaged and excited, and the number of times we're here in the studio and we hear through the window, that is so cool. And
the response is absolutely phenomenal.
That's
People
great.
just love it.
Oh yeah, you are
Yeah.
very enticing through the window.
Yeah. I would say the one thing is that's important for us is just setting people's expectations, because these sculptures are really pretty lifelike, but they're not exact. So
Sure.
sometimes the color's not exactly perfect. Sometimes the image is a little bit off, but for the most part, they look really pretty cool. But people just have to understand it's still a new technology, so it is not perfect. So it's
Okay.
just setting those expectations.
Okay, yeah, and
Yeah.
I can see what you mean, because the models that you have, if they're almost, I want to say blurry, it's not a sharp representation of the person.
Right.
It's an impression of the person.
Yeah, it's a good
Does it get-
representation.
Does it get better? Can this be improved upon, or the people that print the statues for you, will the technology get better?
I think so. I think it's a combination of the hardware will get better, the software will get better, the printer will get better. There's a lot of things with calibration. Just like your Xerox printer in the office, if you don't have the right, calibration, your prints aren't going to turn out
Makes
well.
total
And
sense.
so that happens with this type of printer as well.
You're just Xeroxing people here. Really.
Exactly, on a medium. And so, and I guess my thought too is that right now the limitation is using sandstone, and so until they can break that down into a smaller granule, then you're not going to get the definition. So, or you have to go to a larger sculpture to capture that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
We knew that these, in Kirkland from January through May, it's the doldrums. There's hardly anybody here. It's weather, so that I think it's right now meeting my expectations. So we're doing well, and so I'm excited to now have a lease and be able to go ahead and start the advertising and improve foot traffic.
That's you know what? That's probably been the hardest part about the business is finding space. Because most space is pretty large, 2,000 square feet, and we don't need a lot of space. And you really can't find 500 square foot, retail space. So this is perfect for us.
I was going to say, this seems perfect because you have your machine,
Right.
you have your walk-in area. That's really all you need.
Right. Right.
And you're not going to find a shop like this all the time. So it's just you guys struck lightning, or lightning struck, or you hit gold. I don't know, whatever the right saying is. You've done it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's right.
Great.
Well, as you know, I asked my audience to submit questions via comments on the previous YouTube video.
All right.
And then people could vote for their question that they wanted to ask, and I was going to choose 5 of those. So I have the 5 questions. Are you ready? Would you like to answer these?
Ready. Bring it on.
The first question was the highest voted question. And of course, the first question obviously involves naked people. So question 1, have you printed or scanned anyone nude, and was it, quote, epic awkward?
I better let Dawn answer that one.
No, not yet. Not yet. We've had people that talked about this would be a really cool like boudoir photography studio, but nobody has offered yet. I thought going to the solstice parade would be really fun because these people, even though they're naked, they're also painted, and it's just a classic work of art. But I would say the thing that was the most, epic would be on one of the shows we did. We had a funeral director that wanted to collaborate with 40 other funeral parlors and figure out how they could provide this service to their clients. And we're
capturing mom and dad.
And we're like, well, go ahead and tell us exactly how do you think that's going to play out? How is this going to work? Because are you going to bring them to the studio? What exactly are you thinking here? We're kind of open to ideas, but that
sounds pretty awkward.
That was a little awkward.
That sounds really
Hopefully
awkward.
they come in before they, like when they signed up for the funeral home or whatever.
A little bit of pre-planning would be.
Come in before they make permanent residence at the funeral home. Got it. Okay. That's fantastic. Well, question 2 is an interesting question. What are the benefits versus cost of using an 89 camera system versus a single camera with a rotating platform? Do the benefits of this outweigh any costs?
So right now what this system does is it allows us to go ahead and with the 89 cameras capture in a split second 360 degrees around our subject. And this allows us to go ahead and capture the kids and the pets that were part of our original performance specs of wanting to capture, because a normal scanning system with one camera, your audience is probably used to it already, know that it could take anywhere from 30 seconds to 5 minutes depending on the size of the object.
That's right.
And it's a challenge just to have an adult stand there without moving for that long, and you'd never be able to get kids or pets to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So with your system, then you can have kids and pets and things that don't necessarily stand still.
Right. It just takes 1 second to get 178 photos, and normally we can capture a child and a pet in that space of time. And we might take a couple different photo shoots to have them both be still at the same time. If you're doing a photo and a child, it's somebody's always moving. But doing something with just one camera it takes way too long.
Well, I have a scanner for my phone, and I have a Kinect sensor that I can do this scanning. And I know that there's another business in the area, 3D Lovebirds, and they're able to use a Kinect scanner, but they deal with adults who can hold a pose. I can't even imagine trying to get my puppy to stand still long enough to get any sort of scan, let alone dog slobber on my phone while I'm trying to get the details, right?
Right.
So that's a really big advantage.
It's a huge advantage, and we have a lot of pet lovers. I just heard yesterday that there are more dogs in Seattle than there are children. And there are a lot of people that love their pets, and we've done a number of photo shoots at a pet expo, as well as just people bringing in their dogs here at the studio. And so it's a really big market. People really enjoy that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yep.
So and then when we're looking at also just the cost of the overall cost is, probably half of the cost goes into actually the equipment we're using, but the other half is actually in the printing. And that's where, as you know from your 3D printers, that you can range from $3,000 to a couple of $100,000.
Oh, easily.
And then the material costs themselves ranges. And so that's where, from a business standpoint, we know that this technology is going to be out of date in 3 years or 5 years, but at least we'll be able to recoup it a little bit and then be able to service more people.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, question 3, can the camera rig be modified to capture larger models? And their example was cars. And I personally, after looking at this setup, it doesn't seem like it scales larger. I don't think, but tell me, are my suspicions correct?
You're right in that right now it's configured to optimize the algorithms that create as we collect from all of the pictures and the projections and into the server to go ahead and do the computational model. That if we were to make it bigger, that's where right now the software isn't able to handle that, and actually your handheld scanner would probably do a better job because it's not moving, and you can take half an hour to scan your car or your motorcycle or
That's true.
whatever it is.
Car doesn't move when you're wanting to take a picture of it.
That's
so
true.
That's a very good point.
That's a good point, yeah.
Let's see, question 4. Does the 3D capture work with any surface, even reflective surfaces like mirrors or glass? That's a really good question, actually.
That is a great question. And, we actually have to tell people when they come in to do a photo shoot not to wear reflective, like a huge belt buckle or, shiny jewelry or even patent leather shoes.
So leather's out of the question.
It's not completely out of the question. There's a workaround for that particular issue. We put blue masking tape on it, so the pattern will get absorbed in the black and in shiny objects. So we'll put masking tape, but we'll kind of show you an idea or an example of what happens if you use a mirror or a reflective object. It's just not going to work.
Oh, I see. So then if you put blue masking tape over leather pants to get the pattern, then how do you get a statue from that? How do you get a statue that doesn't have blue tape on it?
Well, after we submit the model, after it's made into the 3D model, then it is digitally painted to cover up all the masking tape. And then we print it after the fact.
So there's a little bit of post-operative work, so to speak.
It is, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Right, and it's part of just making a model watertight, that the cameras aren't, for example, seeing every single part of your body, in that your arm is covering part of your torso, so a human is going in to fill in those gaps and then make it watertight so that we can then do the printing.
That's the secret sauce right there, isn't it?
That's
yes,
right,
a human.
Bit of
That's the secret sauce, a human.
Robots can't do everything.
I know, we'll have to figure out how to change that, though.
So here we are, we're with question 5, and this is interesting because you made mention of shows or the Solstice Parade. And the question is, could a rig like this be transported and set up at a convention for cosplay scans? And I'm guessing by your previous answers, it's yes, it is transportable.
Absolutely. So we've done a couple of different shows already, and actually that was our original business model, was simply to do all the large shows. But what we discovered is a lot of people really want to bring their children with them, or their spouse, or they want to go home and change their clothes. So that's kind of how we ended up with the studio. But this weekend, in fact, we're doing a show, so we'll be there for 2 days. And people can come, they can get scanned, then we send them the image, and then from there they can just purchase it online when they get home, after they have a chance to look at all their different poses and pick which one. But we love the fact that this is portable. It's more of a luggable. It takes some breakdown and setup. We have a trailer, but we can do large conventions, weddings, any kind of event.
Well, wedding seems interesting.
Yeah, and we just had somebody
sports teams.
Yeah, we have somebody that wants to do a football team. So there's a lot of opportunities out there.
Well, I like this question having to do with conventions, specifically for cosplay, because you have people that invest thousands of dollars into these costumes that are molded for their body, and they do hours of makeup. It seems like this would be an amazing way to capture their work without having to take a lot of time to pose for something. 'Cause
Right.
you could get them in at the snap of a finger.
It is.
Exactly.
It is. It takes 1 second to take the photo, and it processes or starts the process in about 30 seconds, and then we can take the next person in line. So it's a very, very quick process for us.
That's perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Well, guys, that's all the questions. How about you give me a tour of how this works?
Sounds great. Let's
Very
go.
good.
Let's do it.
Come on into the holodeck.
I'm excited. Let's do this.
Awesome.
Where do I stand?
All right, stand right here in the center.
All right, stand in the
Look at
center.
our holodeck.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
We are all set.
Okay, can I do my high five pose?
Of course.
Yes.
Here it goes. Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, we're-
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go.
Okay, you're done.
That's it?
That's it.
That's literally
You're
it.
done.
Oh, that's
You're done.
fantastic. What do we do
Awesome.
now?
Well,
We're going to wait for it to process, and then you get to see your image.
Awesome.
so now that we've taken photos of you, Joel, is what we do is this is our management screen that gives us an update of how your photos are being processed in the system, and that within a few minutes we'll be able to bring up your photo, see the Pixie or the GIF file that.
You and your GIF, man.
Oh, I know. I say tomatoes also. And
So does this process here locally, or do you send it up to a cloud server?
So as you can probably see on the screen, we have actually both options here.
Oh.
One is that if we're connected to a high-speed internet, we can process it up to a cloud, and there's bigger, larger servers that can get the information back to you in a timely manner. And if we're either lose the internet or we're remote and don't have that internet capabilities, then we can just have a local server here that takes about half an hour to build the model.
That's not bad at all.
Than 10 minutes. So
Fantastic.
and let's see. So an example of what we can see here from the view is that this is a little photo we did earlier today.
Oh my gosh.
And so you can kind
Look
of
at
see.
that.
So then we can open this up. So now we can go ahead and look at this couple from all of the different dimensions. And you can see how we do have webbing between his face and her head. And then as we bring it up here, and remember this is just our preview. And so we do have some webbing here, kind of where the cameras
okay.
can't see between the legs.
Okay, and obviously the camera can't see under their feet, so that's what's under their feet.
Look at that.
Wow, it's like art.
It is abstract art. And then we can do a load where we can look at only the mesh. And when I looked at this earlier today, I thought, oh,
okay.
that looks pretty good. And then I looked at, oh my gosh, look at his legs. Somehow we missed what's going on with his legs.
Well, what's interesting about the mesh only, the mesh is exactly what I would 3D print at home.
Exactly. Yep. And then the other interesting thing that this software package does is they call it heat maps, and that we can, depending on the size of the model, it'll tell us where, if we're shipping it, where there's a risk of something breaking off. So because her arms are sticking out, then during shipment, there's a good chance of the smaller scale of those arms breaking. But as you get into a larger scale, there's more mass there to support the arms.
Right. Interesting.
So that's kind of a neat feature of this system.
Cool.
Hey, Joel, look what I got for you.
What's that?
Yes.
That's fantastic! Can I hold it?
Of course you can hold it.
Oh, it's so pretty.
It is
Is
very
it mine?
pretty. It's yours.
Okay, I'm taking this. Wow, you've made it this far. Thanks for sticking around. I really appreciate it. I know that was a longer video and it was a little bit of a departure from the type of videos I usually upload. However, I really enjoy speaking with people and I really enjoy talking to people about their passions. And so if this is something that resonates with you guys or something that you would like to see more of, then I can invest more time, energy, and equipment into the process and I can get some better audio, I can get better camera angles, maybe even hire someone to film so I can just concentrate on the process. Regardless of that, if you look at this 7-inch sandstone statue of me in my epic pose, it turned out amazing. I'll hold it close to the camera. I don't know, it's gonna get a little blurry, but just know that this is freaking awesome. the detail is amazing on this model. You can see on my buttocks where the wallet in my pocket has worn through. You can see the folds in my jeans. You can see my shoelaces, the individual fingers. You can see on my Doctor Who hoodie where the lettering has worn off. And in fact, you can see a little bit of color right here where my t-shirt is showing through. You know, technology hasn't quite caught up with the epicness that is my hair. So my hair in sandstone isn't the most hairy version of my hair, but I think it did a good job. That's not too bad. All in all, it's an easy process. You saw how quick the scan was, and it was just a couple weeks to get this back. That's all it took. I would do this, and if you're in town, I would recommend you do this. This is pretty cool. So if you saw in the video, I went into their machine and I raised my right hand as if I was giving a high five. Well, they sent me the digital file, and look, I printed this out. Yeah, this is me. Here's what's interesting. The little wireless mic I was wearing, you can tell that it captured that because it's got a little bump on the side. It's got a little chunk missing that was a little thin where my jeans were folded. The supports on my left hand are a little bit good, but you can tell that's my face. You can tell it's my hair, and you can tell that's my right hand up waiting for an epic high five. Yeah. Here's the awesome part. As a thank you to my patrons who pledge their support through patreon.com, you can do it up there if you want to as well, I'm going to give them this model. That's right. As an exclusive, the very first exclusive for my patrons through patreon.com, they get access to this digital model. And I can't wait to see what you guys do with it. I'm really looking forward to it. And if there's some really cool designs or some really cool prints, I'm going to show them off in a future video. So if you're not a patron and you want access to the model, click the link up there and give me $1 or so a month, and then you can print me. Again, thanks for sticking around and watching till the end. If you skipped here, I totally understand. Dawn and Alex were awesome people, and I really look forward to working with them in the future. In fact, Jerry from Barnacle Nerdgasm and I, we may have a collaboration in the works with Dawn and Alex over at Holodeck 3D Studios. I'll keep you posted on that. Regardless of that, thanks. Again, please like this video if you thought it was awesome. Leave a comment down below. Let me know how I did with my interview skills. It was the very, very first time I've ever conducted an interview like this, and I thought it went well. I got some good feedback from Dawn and Alex, and I'm wondering what you think about it. Did I do a good job? Is there anything I'm missing or anything I went too far with? Please let me know in the comments. Share this with someone who you think might be interested in the interview or in the process of how the scan was done. Again, there's my Patreon link up there for patreon.com. Again, just give me a social high five. I do not require any money. However, I'm going to start giving exclusives to my patrons who support me through patreon.com. So if you have the means and you want the exclusives, just hit right up there. All right, guys. Hey, again, this was fun. I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to hear what you think. Give me some constructive feedback. As always, high five.